Hello dear friends and colleagues, I'm Stanislav Chernog, the author and creator of the online school Vector Massage and Somatics. We have another video where in front of you, on your knees and against the background of the buttocks. When buttocks come in, we shoot about buttocks, so our topic today is saggy buttocks. And in general, let's look at the buttocks of our model. Please write in the comments what you don't like about them. I am sure that an experienced specialist will determine that the problem is and develop a massage strategy that will lead our patient to the best shape of the buttocks. Right now, put the video on pause and write in the comments which muscles you would prefer to work with in this particular case. I ask you to write a comment because there is a study that if you have thought about the task beforehand, then the new material enters your consciousness much better. So let's look at what we're seeing here. We see the barrel, we see the buttocks, and let's try to perform a few simple manipulations. First, we will tighten the gluteus maximus a little, and at the same time bring in the space of the lateral surface of the pelvis slightly shifted forward along the middle gluteus muscle and the back and abdominal muscles. And we find that the left buttock looks much more presentable. Unfortunately, I only have two hands. I took them both on my left buttock. I can't be near the model all the time, so our task, of course, will be manipulations that will bring our model's buttocks into a state of beauty without my direct presence. In this video, we will look at working with the gluteus maximus muscle, which will lead to an increase in its tone. We will consider working with the middle gluteus muscle, which will lead to a change in shape. And besides, we'll talk to you about working with the oblique abdominal muscles, which will change the shape of the hip. So, if we talk about our client, there are several different problems. The first problems are that the buttock does not have sufficient tone and as a result, it sags. The second problem is related to the fact that excess fats are grown in the area of the middle gluteus muscle, and this is due to the fact that the gluteus maximus muscle cannot cope with its load, and the body transfers the load to the middle gluteus, and as a result, it hurts from this. In addition, an important point will be the condition of the oblique abdominal muscles, which slim the waist. And our task will be to work with the buttock lift. Our task will be to reduce the volume of the middle gluteal muscle, and our task will be to relieve inflammation of the iliac bone, which leads to obesity of the waist. Stanislav, a question from the audience. The model, when she was standing, it turns out that you pulled the buttock to the side with your hand sideways. Are we going to work with this somehow? It is with the movement of the buttock. When the model was standing, we brought the lateral surface of the upper buttock forward and thus reduced the volume of the ilium. This was due to the fact that we simulated the effect of oblique abdominal muscles, which should pull our lateral surface forward and sideways. Let's start with the very first stage. This is the lifting of the buttock, and vice has insufficient tone, and as a rule, the tone is associated with how the receptors work in the places where the buttock is attached to the bone. Our buttocks have a rather complicated form of attachment. We have places on the buttocks that are attached to the iliac bone, the most medial part of the ilium. There are places of attachment along the sacrum, and finally there are places of attachment along the ligaments that connect the sciatic bones and the sacrum. 3 attachment points. There are 2 bundles from these 3 attachment points. Part of the bundles goes to the lateral surface and is woven into the iliotibial tract. Part of the bundles goes to the posterior surface of the gluteal roughness of the thigh bone. We need to understand that when we work with the tone of the buttocks, if the buttock is excessively lowered, we need to concentrate on the bundles that go from the sacrum and from the sacrotuberous ligament. It is important to understand that if we find places of soreness at the attachment points of the gluteus maximus along the sacrotuberous ligament and sacrum, these areas absolutely need to be worked out in order to increase the tone of the gluteus maximus. We work through these places through pushing, through ischemic compression. After we have worked through these places, we need to massage them. We do rapid squeezing. This is due to the fact that in some cases, the tissues around the attachment sites have an excessive amount of fluid, and we need to divert this swelling, which is associated with inflammation, so that fresh clean blood without decayed products, enriched with oxygen, comes to these areas and can cure those inflammatory processes that arose due to improper operation of the gluteal muscle. It is absolutely necessary to perform exercises to train the large gluteal muscles. Very often, instead of training the gluteus maximus, people train themselves with the square muscles of the lower back, which leads to corresponding difficulties in the lower back. Therefore, the only way to tighten the buttocks will be the correct study of the gluteus maximus with simultaneous physical exercises that give an isolated load on the gluteus maximus. Write in the comments how much you are interested in exercises for the gluteus maximus. If there are more than 500 comments about the exercises, we will definitely remove the full range of motor exercises to work with your glutes. The next step will be work on the gluteus medius. Unlike the gluteus maximus, which is limited by a rather narrow part along the sacrum and ilium, it is located more laterally, and very often, due to the fact that the gluteus maximus does not work, the body transfers the load to the medial gluteus. This causes the gluteus medius to become inflamed, causing the body to try to cover up the area with excess fat deposits to ensure a regular, stable temperature. And as a result, the size of the ilium begins to increase. The pelvis begins to look square and heavier. Therefore, in order to change the state of the pelvis, the first step we work with is the gluteus maximus muscle. After that, we start working with the gluteus medius. I will emphasize why we need to work with the gluteus medius. We remove secondary consequences of a malfunctioning gluteus maximus muscle. If we do not work the gluteus medius, then the body will habitually work with the gluteus medius and will not give work to the gluteus maximus. Therefore, it is very important to work out the attachment points of the gluteus medius along the ilium, along its outer lip. In addition, it is very important to work with fat deposits in order to properly drive blood through them, so that the body finds that in some places it has excess fat deposits, somewhere there is a metabolic disorder, somewhere there is inflammation. And at the moment when we draw the body's attention to these places, the body begins to look here more intensely and takes appropriate actions to correct its physical condition. There is an opinion that a change in figure is due to the fact that either a person has bad genetics, or the one eats too much, or does not eat enough. Yes, of course, all this has a place to be. All this is of great importance. At the same time, my experience suggests that as a rule, violations of appearance, changes in the figure, and as a result, violations of the health. And when we talk about a violation of health, these are very specific problems that are solved by specific massage manipulations. This is what we teach in our figure modeling course. In this course, we tell in detail which places in the human body are key for the figure and appearance. We tell how to work with these places, we talk about the lymphatic system, we talk about the musculoskeletal system, we talk about how all this is interconnected and what manipulations needs to be done in order for the body to change, so that the person after that I wanted to eat healthy food. And what manipulations should be taken to make it pleasant, interesting and joyful to move a person. And we continue. And now while I was telling you all this, I actually worked with the external and internal oblique muscles of the abdomen. These muscles are attached to the ilium, one of the bones of the pelvis. And you need to understand that on the one hand, the gluteal muscles are attached to the plantar bone and they go down, and on the other side, the oblique muscles of the abdomen are attached and they go up, respectively. And if we have poor tone and inflammation in the oblique muscles of the abdomen, then this leads to the fact that the body grows a fat pad at the places of their attachment. This leads to the fact that the waist noticeably expands in volume. Accordingly, work on the oblique muscles of the abdomen is, first of all, work on the places of attachment and work on adipose tissue, massaging and massaging. We grab and knead the tissues and we find the attachment site and push them through ischemic compression. As a result, there is an increase in the tone of the oblique muscles of the abdomen, which leads to the fact that in the process of breathing and walking, these muscles begin to work more on a regular basis. These are the muscles that are mainly involved in walking, in breathing. And at the moment when they are included in the work, this leads to the fact that they flush out an excess amount of toxins from themselves. This leads to the fact that blood circulation for them increases. This leads to the fact that the volume of fatty tissue that are located above these muscles are reduced. Thus, working with this small region will allow you to radically change the shape of the buttocks. It will pull your buttocks up. It will change the volume of the gluteus medius to the iliac bones. This will reduce the size of your waist. How quickly we will see results after we start working with this zone. The first results will appear after about 3 to 5 sessions. We need to work this area for about 20 to 30 minutes on one side. That is, this is a job that will require quite a lot of effort from you. In addition, you will get the best result if your patient or you yourself begin to exercise the gluteus maximus muscle. It is important to remember here that it is necessary to give an isolated load to the gluteus maximus muscle. In addition, there is a directly opposite problem, the problem of excessive tone of the buttocks, what in simple language is called purse draws. Like this video if you want us to make a similar video about the axis tone of the buttocks. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and with you as always was Stanislav Chernog, the author and creator of the online school Vector Massage and Somatics, and the YouTube channel of the same name, where we teach you to work on your appearance, where we teach you to become healthier and earn good money on it. Until we meet again, friends, goodbye.